Okay, let's take a look at our own personal copy of this database, practice some of our SQL statements, and save a file that we'll use for next week's classes. Okay, I'm at glitch.com and I'm clicking on my project. Again, if it takes a moment to start up, just go ahead and wait for it to say app status OK in the lower left-hand corner. All right, we're just going to run through a review of the SQL phrases that we used before, and also generate some data that we're going to use for some charting we'll do next week. So click on the Show button here and open that up in a new window. Here we are. And go ahead and click on the NYC dog licensing dataset, because that's what we're going to be using. And before we move on, I just want to just highlight and copy this table name here. We're going to need that in a couple of minutes. So instead of typing that all again, I'm just going to copy that and we'll have it on the clipboard ready to go. So let's go do some SQL queries. And you do that by clicking on View and Edit SQL. And I'm going to delete what's already here in this box. Boom. Great, and we're going to start with our first SQL phrase we know, which is the select from phrase. And we'll just start real basic. So we want to say select, and I'm going to say I want the breed name. This chart that we're going to make later and this query that we're going to make now, I just want the top breeds. So let's make the data for the top breeds in New York City according to the license data that we have. So start real basic. We're just going to say the select breed name, and remember it's select from. So where are we doing it from? Well, this time we need to use that table name. We have the table name, which is the name of our original data set, and I'm just going to paste that right in here so I don't have to type it again. And it's the dog licensing data set 2018, and run that. And here we recognize this from before, where we have all of the rows, many rows, and all of the breeds. So what do we want to do? We want really the group by, right? We want just one instance of each breed that we have. So we want to group by breed name. And that will get us closer. Yeah, it's closer to what we want. But we're missing a column here. What are we missing? Well, we want the count of the breed name. So I'm going to add that to our select query here. These are the columns we want. So I'm going to say count breed name. And just run that SQL query and make sure it looks the way we want. Yep, that's great. I'm going to modify that, though. Remember, we could call it something other than this kind of crazy column name. So I'm going to say as dogs and run that just to make sure I've got that. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, I'm really interested in ordering these because I want it nice and clean and ordered by biggest to smallest. So I'm going to say order by dogs and run that SQL. And I have it backwards. Well, it's forwards to the computer, starting as 1 and counting up, but I want it the other way. This is ascending, I want it descending. So DESC, I can add that. And what do we have? There we go. We have the unknown category, and then all the Yorkshire Terrier and every other breed below. So that's what I want, and here we've practiced our SQL queries again. Really straightforward, and just using almost all of our phrases. We don't have a where phrase in there, but that's okay. And now I want to save that data. So to save that out, I can see you have this line, this data as CSV. That's what I want. I want to save it as a CSV. And that will very likely just show that CSV in your browser. You can see here's the column names at the very top, and then our first line and our second line. We want to save this as a CSV. So what I'm going to do is right-click here, or you can also do, on a Mac, you can do Control-click, or right-click on a PC, or if you have a right-click mouse. and just save as. And I'm going to save this right to my desktop. I'm going to call it topbreeds.csv. All right, so save that somewhere. You'll know where to find it for next week. And we'll be all set for our charting exercises next week. Next up, we'll make our data more easily searchable by turning on Datasette's full text search feature.